One person is dead after an officer-involved shooting. The latest details as authorities investigate the incident.
Plus, multiple tornadoes touched down in the Midwest. We'll hear from those affected as they now pick up the pieces.
And a State Line Events looking for volunteers, how you can help athletes with special needs compete.
Live from WTVO 17, this is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm David Greenberg. Before we get to some of those stories, one man is dead after being shot in Rockford.
The shooting happened on Price Street this afternoon. Crime scene tape was strung up across the roadway while evidence markers could be seen on a nearby lawn. Officers say a 21-year-old man was shot. He was taken to the hospital for treatment where he died. There's no word yet on any suspects in this case. Rockford Police are still investigating. An investigation is underway after an officer-involved shooting over the weekend. This happened Sunday morning in Beloit. Officers were called to Ashland Avenue. At the scene, officers say they saw an armed person with two bladed weapons. Police say the attacker was moving toward another person and ignored commands to drop the weapons. That's when an officer opened fire. The suspect was taken to a hospital and pronounced dead. No one else was injured. The officer who opened fire has been put on administrative leave as part of the department's policy. Officers were wearing body cameras. The Wisconsin Department of Justice Division of Criminal Investigation is looking into the case.
One person is injured in another weekend shooting in Beloit. A little before 4 Sunday afternoon, police were called to Oak Street for reports of a disturbance. Officers say that disturbance had involved shots being fired. One person drove themselves to a hospital for treatment and are expected to be okay. If you have any information on the shooting, contact Beloit Police. Well, a new severe threat begins tomorrow after a weekend of deadly storms all across the entire Midwest. More than 100 tornadoes have been reported throughout the region.
4 people were killed in Oklahoma with a 5th person dead in Iowa. Melissa Adan reports as communities are left to pick up the pieces.
Neighborhood after neighborhood decimated across the Midwest after a multi-day tornado outbreak.
Our entire downtown is devastated. It went into our business district, and it took our entire business district.
In Sulphur, Oklahoma, this furniture store destroyed after almost 2 decades in the community.
Devastating. I'm heartbroken. It's our home, it's our love, it's our passion. It's everything.
Bricks, pieces of wood, parts of roofs thrown everywhere. Local officials vowing to come back better than ever.
We're a strong community. We'll be back, I promise you.
At least 4 people killed across the state, including a 4-month-old baby. In Trinity County, Texas, 2 people rushed to the hospital after being rescued from a damaged home.
It's no longer here. It's completely gone.
And in Rosebud, Texas, video shows the moments a potential tornado ripped through the city. In Nebraska, authorities say more than 150 homes were damaged in Douglas County. The National Weather Service office in Omaha issued 48 tornado warnings on Friday alone, the most ever issued in a single day. And severe weather is forecasted for the region once again Tuesday and Wednesday, with large hail, strong winds, and potential tornadoes expected. Melissa Adan, ABC News, Ardmore, Oklahoma.
Funeral services with full police honors were held today for fallen Chicago officer Luis Huesca. Services took place at St. Rita of Acacia Shrine Chapel in Chicago. Yesterday, hundreds lined up from across the city, state, and country to pay their respects. He was gunned down last weekend while returning home from a shift. Authorities have since classified his death as a, quote, in the line of duty. That allows his family to receive survivors' death benefits. A relative of another slain Chicago police officer showing up to support Huesca's family.
It's kind of difficult for us to come out this time. We've been here. This is our 4th time in 3 years. It's really kind of unbearable. Our officers are a part of our community. They are falling victim to the same violence that our communities are falling victim to.
Well, police have issued an arrest warrant for Xavier Tate Jr. in connection with the murder. A $100,000 reward is now being offered for information leading to an arrest and conviction. Illinois State Police issue a phone scam warning. Police say someone pretending to be an ISP investigator is calling people, telling them their identity has been stolen. If this happens to you, ask for the person's name, badge number, and contact information before hanging up, and make sure to report that to police. They also say you should never confirm personal or financial information over the phone to an unknown caller.
The campus of Northwestern University is the scene of competing protests, both pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli. Hundreds of students, staffers, and supporters are protesting the war in Gaza. This was their 5th day of their encampment in the school's Deering Meadow. The demonstrators demand that Northwestern cut off all support for Israel.
Ceasefire, stop the genocide. Please look at us as human. Don't dehumanize the Palestinian people.
No dialogue at all. All we got was free Palestine, Jews for Palestine, but nobody wants to engage in a conversation.
While there were no violent confrontations, some students say they heard a lot of hateful rhetoric from counter-protesters. Organizers say until their demands are met, the encampment will stay up.
A local interchange is closing due to construction. Work is set to begin on the Harrison Avenue and US 20 interchange in Cherry Valley. Closures are scheduled to take place tonight as well as tomorrow night. The shutdown is necessary to remove overhead sign trusses. The westbound lane closures will happen tonight, while eastbound lanes will be stopped tomorrow night. Work will then start at 10 and last until 5 in the morning.
There's some good news coming out of Boone County. For the first time, Fire Protection District 2 has 2 ambulances running 24 hours a day. The move was approved by voters last year. A rise in taxes allowed for the purchase of the ambulances. The district had been using services through hospitals, but that contract ended.
A state line is now looking for your help. The Special Olympics Spring Games are being held this Saturday. Volunteers are needed to help with events on the field and track, handing out lunches and awarding medals. Anyone over 12 and willing to commit to help out from 8:30 to 3 can sign up. Organizers say the games are a great way to spread some positivity in the community.
It's a huge morale boost for the community. It shows that this community offers these opportunities to anybody, even the marginalized community. We have spectators, we have families that come out, we have people that don't volunteer but just want to come out and be part of the festivities.
Qualifying athletes will compete in the state summer games in June. A link to sign up to volunteer, you can find it in this story on our website, mystateline.com.
Appealing to voters ahead of November's election.
Up next, how one state's abortion ban is now causing waves all across the nation.
And coming up at 6, gearing up to celebrate the 4th of July. How you can get involved in the 4 cities' annual tradition.
Temperatures this afternoon back up to 70 with the few breaks in the cloud cover we had today. We're warming even further the next several days, but that'll also come with the return of rain when our next chance for some thunderstorms will move in. Coming up in the forecast a little later.
Florida's 6-week abortion ban takes effect this week. Now, both sides of the aisle are using the policy to make their case to voters all across the country. Democrats say a Trump presidency would institute a nationwide abortion ban, but Republicans insist they're leaving the issue up to the states. Washington correspondent Jesse Tenor reports on the debate.
It's definitely good news for the cause of life.
Anti-abortion rights advocates are celebrating a new law in Florida that bans most abortions after 6 weeks.
It's going to have an immediate life-saving impact for both women and unborn children.
Melanie Israel with the Heritage Foundation says about 40% of abortions occur before 6 weeks. When the law takes effect Wednesday, that will no longer be an option in the state.
I think we're going to see a significant drop in the number of abortions regardless.
Florida had been a destination for women seeking abortions in surrounding states that have similar bans or restrictions.
It really is going to have a huge impact on the region.
Brencia Berry with the Democratic National Committee says voters should know who's to blame.
Trump has been effective at organizing across the Republican states to get these laws in place that are just harmful to women.
Berry stresses a second Biden term would continue to push back against a national abortion ban.
Women should have the right to make these life-changing, potentially life-threatening decisions about their bodies and their families.
But Israel argues the abortion debate will work in the GOP's favor come November.
A lot of people are actually put off by the extremism that we're seeing coming from the left.
Florida joins neighbors Georgia and South Carolina with a 6-week abortion ban. In Washington, I'm Jesse Tenor.
Oh, we had another breezy day in the state line.
Yeah, partly sunny out there, so not too bad.
Not bad.
After the break, Candace tells us about our chances for some storms here the coming days.
First Warn Weather Forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
It is nice to see a return of the sunshine following some cloud cover and a few showers we had earlier today. Our skies continue to clear as we go through this evening. We take a live look with our SkyTrack camera out in Freeport. The wind has been blowing and the wind will ease up a bit as we go through the night tonight. Getting out in the fields next couple of days as we dry things out with the wind. Overall, weather-wise should be pretty decent depending on field conditions from some of the recent rainfall. We're in the 70s on Tuesday, Wednesday, dry conditions, but rain showers and a couple of thunderstorms will return both Tuesday night and Wednesday night. Thursday, we may have a couple of showers to contend with as the system works closer to us, but our temperatures are back up close to 80. Our weather watcher, Sandy, in the Kirkland-Fairdale area this afternoon, 68 degrees, relative humidity at 65, and a 1/10 of an inch of rainfall here throughout the day. Says, yeah, as much as the wind has been kind of a pain, it's nice to have it because with the recent weather, it has been drying things out. So I guess that's the only real plus side to the wind when you've had a lot of rainfall. 68 for our weather watcher Terry, also in Genoa. 11/100 of an inch of rain, 59 that dew point temperature, southwesterly wind at 17 miles per hour. Notice the wind speeds coming in from the southwest for most, but that wind direction is beginning to change to the west and northwest to our west. So that means our cold front is starting to work through. Now we won't see a big drop in temperatures. In fact, that number will be going up tomorrow because we've got the sunshine. As I mentioned, the wind calming down a bit. Notice our wind speeds around 5 to 10 miles per hour throughout much of the day tomorrow. Maybe some gusts close to 15, but as we get through tomorrow evening, as our next chance for rain returns, the winds will go back up tomorrow night and then into the day on Wednesday. As far as our temperatures go, we're sitting at 67 in Rockford, 62 in Freeport, 67 in Rochelle, but the 50s to the northwest of us, and that's with that wind direction shifting around and a little more cloud cover off to the northwest. 45, that's where we'll head for the night tonight. A little cooler compared to what we've been used to the last few nights as temperatures have been in the upper 50s and low 60s. 75 for tomorrow afternoon, a little less in the way of that muggy feel too. You may have noticed both Saturday and yesterday kind of had a muggy feel to it as dew point temperatures were in the upper 50s and lower 60s, but with that westerly wind turning, we're actually pulling in a little more dry air. So tomorrow should feel a little more comfortable compared to where we've been, and we've got the sunshine, so looks like a pretty decent Tuesday. Now rain showers that passed through this morning, those are off to the east. Low pressure still to the northwest of us, but that low will track to the northeast and keep those winds from the south. That's why we're not seeing that temperature drop off too much, even though that cold front is coming in. Our next storm system, Pacific Northwest, that's actually going to work through during the evening tomorrow. Showers, thunderstorms forming across the upper Midwest and the plains. That's where all the severe weather will reside for tomorrow afternoon and evening. But by the time those showers work in our direction after about 10 o'clock tomorrow night, we don't have to be too concerned with any severe weather, and that thunder threat will be limited as well. Most of Wednesday afternoon is looking dry, 76. Rain and thunderstorms move back in Wednesday night, then into Thursday. We'll dry things out with a couple of showers here as we look into the weekend.
Some good looking temperatures on that 7-day, Candace. Thanks.
Scott's in next with sports.
The Bears and Packers giving themselves a pat on the back for their draft selections. Going to hear from both teams after the break.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
The NFL draft is behind us, and time will tell just how well the Bears did. But on the surface, it looks like they hit a home run. They had only 5 picks, but they made all of them count with guys who fit areas of need and guys with top-end talent, led by Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. Now, Matt Eberflus can only imagine what the Bears' passing game might look like with the now a deep receiving core.
Start with practice. We got to defend those guys in practice, which I think is going to be really good for our skill set. On both sides of the ball. Because if you look at the receiving core, they're all different. Our halfbacks are all different, and the tight ends are different. They're a different skill set. So I think it's credit to Ryan to be able to bring those guys together. Acquire those guys, and I think it's going to be very difficult to defend.
Eberflus and the rest of the coaches will get to start working with these draft picks at the Bears rookie camp, which starts next Friday. The Packers hold in 11 players in the draft. They like the depth they picked up. Matt LaFleur says that'll make for a competitive training camp.
Well, that's always the goal, is to bring in as much talent as possible. And, now it's our job to maximize the talent and try to push these guys to new limits and but we certainly added, especially in some areas that we really needed it, added a lot of competition.
At NIU, the Huskies cannot wait for August to arrive. They like the talent on their roster. They just completed spring workouts over the weekend. The whole depth and area of the team was great throughout the spring, and Coach Hammock believes it can be a top 25 defense. He also says this is the most athletic team that he's had. The big key is going to be getting one of 3 quarterbacks to emerge as a gamer to lead the offense. Ethan Hampton, a returning redshirt junior, is one candidate, and he tells me it's a friendly competition at QB.
I mean, we embrace it, you know what I mean? We're all friends. You know, on the field, we just got to compete. Remember that, you know, it's not personal. It's just strictly trying to play football. I love all those guys, and I love the challenge that they bring to me every day.
And one more football note, former Lena Winslow standout Isaiah Bruce has a new home. He has transferred to Utah State. Bruce started his college career at Iowa, then transferred to Iowa Central Community College, where he played on the defensive line this season. At sports, we'll be right back.
With all the violent weather to the southwest of us, we've been really fortunate just to have breezy conditions.
Yeah,
no kidding.
We've had, you know, some severe weather, you know, as early as February in some of the area, and there were some severe thunderstorm warnings and a tornado warning in southern Wisconsin. Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon too. So we did have some, you know, severe weather close by, but nothing like what they've had out to the west. And it just kind of proves as a reminder, you know, to make sure that you stay weather aware. Thankfully, things are going to be pretty quiet here over the next couple of days. We do have a chance for a few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder Tuesday night, but no severe weather for us locally. A couple of thunderstorms Wednesday night, then again into Thursday. We'll keep an eye on those. Temperatures will stay in the 70s next few days, so warmer conditions too. A little less though in the way of humidity, except for Thursday.
Thanks, Candace.
World News Tonight's up next. We'll be back here at 6.